so 61 minutes of cardio. Whew. So I've got to do 100 leg raises now, so just get the old ab working. And then today is a good day. You can see it's quite sunny. It's going to be about sort of 12-13 degrees, which again for February, 1st of February, is pretty good. So today we are going to test ride some motorbikes. So apart from the chemtrails, it is beautiful. And I think we've picked the best day to go and test ride some motorbikes. So I'm running late, so I got to get the bike started up and I need to get on the road. So yeah, let's go and test a Bobber and a Tiger 900. It's going to be a fun day. Okay, there is the Bobber. So this is the older Bobber. This is the first iteration of it, so it's got the larger front wheel on it with a single disc. The Bobber Blacks had the smaller front wheel and the twin discs, a bit like that one just there. So yeah, let's take it for a spin. Just pulled over. I literally been riding the bike for about 10 minutes. The Bobber. Do I like it? Yes, of course I do. It's a Bobber. Yeah, look at it. It's a beautiful bike. It pulls hard like a V-twin. It really does. It sort of grips and goes. But it's a 1200cc. But I think I'd get bored with it quite quickly. I mean, it's awesome for town. You know, if I lived in London, this is fantastic to just turn it off. Don't want to screw the battery. Yeah, it would be amazing as a town bike. But there lies the issue. There's only one seat. But yeah, great for sort of blasting around town, especially in summer. You know, like going from, you know, going for a coffee or something like that, flying about in town on a Sunday, go to a few of the bike meets, you know, it's great. It's really a nice bike, but it's not your only bike, you know, it's not your only bike. So this would be a second bike, or maybe a third bike. But I like it, but I think I would get bored with, if that was my only bike, I think I'd get bored with it. Actually, 15 years ago, I had 2 Harleys, 2 Ducatis and a KTM. So I had 2 V-rods, believe it or not. One had a huge 280 back tyre on it. I had the dream garage, you know, I had 2 cars as well. It was ridiculous, you know, because I couldn't even ride these things, you know, because I didn't have enough time. So most of the time I just spent life in the garage. So eventually I just got rid of them, you know, life changed and credit crunch kicked in and all that stuff, yeah, so things really did change. But that was like the dream, to have 5 bikes. That was a ridiculous dream, to have 5 bikes, and these are all top-notch, beautiful bikes. Massive running costs, you know, just to keep them insured and taxed and all the rest of it, MOT. So if this bike here was my only bike, it'd be great, but because I've had so many bikes, I don't think it'd be enough. Certainly for Mel as well, because she can't get on the back of this thing. There's nowhere for her to get on, you know. So yeah, it's a tough one. This would be a 3rd bike for me. So I've ridden it, put a couple of miles on it. It feels like, believe it or not, it feels like the first time I rode a Yamaha Virago 535. That's what it feels like. It feels like a more powerful, more substantial Virago 535. That's what it feels like. Is that a good thing? Yeah, it is a good thing, because the Virago was the thing that got me into V-twins, because up until then I was just 4-cylinder Japanese, you know. Loved all the Japanese stuff. It was the Virago, although it is Japanese, the Yamaha. It was that V-twin, it made me realise, wow, there's a life away from 4 cylinders. And V-twins is the power delivery I like. This has exactly the same sort of grunt of a V-twin. You know, just bang on the throttle and you're gripping and firing out the corner. And it is really good. It's just not an only bike. This is a 2nd bike, or a 3rd bike even. So I'm going to head back to Triumph. I'm going to give them this back. I'm going to grab a coffee. And we're going to get on the Tiger 900. I think that's going to be more my cup of tea. Ideally, I'd like my bike, the Speed Triple. I'd like one of these and an adventure bike. But I'm not in that situation anymore. Yeah, maybe in a couple of years things will be different, but right now I can't have 5 bikes, I can't have 3 bikes. I've got to have 1, maybe 2 bikes. So I'm looking at a 2nd bike. That's what I'm looking at. And a real pisser is, at the Triumph dealership I spotted a Ducati Scrambler 1100, and it looks nice. This is the only problem, you know. You go out and you're looking at these bikes, and then something else catches your eye. I used to be the same with women. But we're going to take this one back, yeah, and we're going to get a little spin on the Triumph Tiger. Let's go. The Triumph Tiger, and this is the 900, and this is quite something. Yeah, it's taken me back a little bit, because I didn't think it would be as good as it is. So the Triumph Tiger 900, what a bike. Oh my goodness, I'm absolutely I'm a bit shocked actually, just how good this bike feels. You know, the bobber is a bobber, yeah. It's got a hard seat on it. I was riding it for 20 minutes, so I could feel my arse getting a little bit like, whoa, here we go. You know, could feel it getting a little bit numb. But this is a completely different bike. Right, my Triumph Speed Triple sits in between these two. You know, like I was saying earlier, in the ideal world you have 2 or 3 bikes. Yeah, you have 4 bikes. Yeah, in the perfect world you have 5 bikes. My bike sits in between this one and the bobber. Yeah, and it's up to you what direction you want to take. Yeah, so this is the way I look at it. It's like a little flow chart. You know, I started off with the sports bikes, so the R1s, the Ducati 996s, all that stuff. Yeah, and then you move away from that stuff as you get a little bit older, and you get to my bike, which is like a super naked, if you like. It's like, gives you all the performance of a sports bike, or almost all the performance of a sports bike, with a little bit of a better seating position. So you're a bit more upright, you know, you're not sort of hunched over in a race crouch. So my bike sits between these lot that I'm testing today and the sports bike world. So mine's like a muscle bike, a hyper naked, whatever you want to call it. But so you go from the sports bikes to my bike, and then you can do a left or a right turn. A left turn, if you want to call it a left turn, will take you onto the classics, which are the bobbers, the scramblers, all that stuff. Yeah, or you can do a right turn and you go onto the adventure bikes, or you can have the best of both worlds, or the best of 3 worlds, and you have a race bike, which is what I had before. You have your super sort of enduro bikes, your adventure bikes, and you have the classic bike. Yeah, so you have a Harley, a Ducati, and you know, some sort of naked sort of bike. Yeah, some sort of Street Fighter type bike. Right, so let's talk about this bike before I start rambling more. This bike's awesome. It's awesome. It's got heated grips, it's got heated seat, it's got heated rear seat. The riding position is fantastic. You're elevated very high, you can see so far down the road. I mean, it's quite incredible. I know I'm probably getting a bit older now, so, well, I'm getting a bit older. I'm 50 in a couple of weeks. This bike, it's good. This is a bike to be number 2. For me, I think I'm going to go this direction. So I'm going to keep the street triple because I love that, yeah. But I think number 2 bike is going to be one of these. Something similar to this. Probably not the 900. This is a top of the range 900, brand new model. So I'm going to go for something a few years old, probably the 800. And I'm looking at spending about 3.5–4 grand on it. And then when I get a nice garage, a couple of years, then I'll add a Harley to it, probably, or a bobber of some sort of naked, sort of custom, like a 48 custom, Harley Davidson 48 custom, or the bobber. I'll probably go for a bobber. Just keep it all Triumph, right? You know, that's when you know you're on a roll, right? Keep it all Triumph. But I think this is going to be number 2 bike. Like I say, heated grips. Wow. Heated seat. Ooh. Heated rear seat. Mel would like that. And the screen. No buffeting. Yeah, just sort of nothing, no wind in the face or anything like that. It really is a good bike. I was looking at it to start and I was like, Christ, it's quite big and it's a bit tall. As soon as you get on it, it feels perfect. It feels small, it feels agile. This has got so many rider aids on it, it's unreal. It's got traction control, electronic suspension, 4 different road modes, or, you know, road mode, off-road mode, rain mode, all sorts of stuff. Absolutely insane, the technology on this bike. But I like it, and I think this is the way we're going to go. So this will be put on a trailer on the back of the van, and we go off and get into adventures on this. For now it's going to be the Speed Triple, because I don't have one of these, but this is going to be the next bike, I think. It is very good. And I didn't think I'd say that, and I actually sent Mel a text message. I sent her a picture of this and a picture of the bobber. I said, what one do you think I like more? She said the bobber. I said, no, that's number 3 bike. So if you get the perfect garage, you know, you got 3 bikes. You have your Hyper Naked, which is the Speed Triple. You have one of these, the 900s or the Tigers, and you have yeah, like a big old custom. Wow, I'm really surprised by this bike. It is really good. Anyway, I've got to take it back now. Don't want to. I was actually riding around looking, trying to look for places, adventures to go on, you know, just in the short time that I've got this bike. I was looking for like dusty trails and all that stuff, yeah. It makes you want to go on an adventure. It makes you look for adventure. It's absolutely fantastic. And now I know what all the Germans and the French and the Italians, they all go for this style of bike, you know. And now I know why. It's a game changer. Anyway, I've got to take it back now, so enough waffling. So, Bulldog Triumph, that's where we are. So all I want to say is thank you to Bulldog Triumph. I've got to get back on my bike now and head home. But yeah, had a good day's riding. We are home. Got to put the bike away now. But yeah, what a good day of riding. I think I know what way I need to go next, and it's to get a Triumph Tiger 800. So keep this and obviously add to it with a Triumph Tiger 800. That's the future, I think, but we know that already. Anyway, so hope you enjoyed that little journey and that little bit of bike related fun. Please like, subscribe, share, tell your friends, tell your family, and I'm out of here.